pressed between the pages of my mind. Memories sweetened through the ages just like wine.
For a kid, the early 60s were the best of times and the spookiest of times. It was the dawn of the space age, the beginning of Camelot. It was also the height of the Cold War. Khrushchev pounded his shoe and said he'd bury us. Dr. Strangelove told us to stop worrying and love the bomb. But we ducked and covered just in case. Mutually assured destruction said neither side would attack if both sides would be annihilated. And so was born SAC, the Strategic Air Command with thousands of bombing targets in the Soviet Union. But bombers need bases, and the closer to the target, the better. Loring Air Force Base on the northern tip of the New England promontory was our closest base to the Soviet Union. Loring was formed in 1953 as Limestone Air Force Base. At 14,000 acres, it was second largest of SAC's 75 bases. Loring had everything a normal community had: grocery store, department store, indoor heated pool. We even had our own golf course and ski slope. Unlike normal communities, we also had the largest stockpile of nuclear weapons in the U.S. We had enough firepower to take out a country. So Loring had a lot of moving parts, and that took a lot of manpower. That manpower came from bases all over the world, and most of that manpower came with spouses and kids, or military brats as we were called.
Devil or angel, I can't make up my mind. Which one you
There are millions of present and former military brats. Some are famous. Most of us brats were normal, but some didn't adjust so well to the nomadic life and the discipline. The housing was good and the neighborhoods were clean and safe. We were divided into officers and airmen housing to decrease the potential for fraternization that might compromise the chain of command. But fraternization rules didn't apply to the kids of officers and enlisted personnel. Friendship and hormones obeyed different rules.
Why must I be a teenager in love? One day
The focal point for teenagers was the Van Sickle Youth Center. It was open till 9 p.m. on weekdays and until 11 p.m. on Saturday. Membership cost 75 cents a month, and the rules were strictly enforced by Master Sergeant George Kirby Sr., or Mr. Kirby as we called him. We had our own elected officers. I was Sergeant at Arms, whatever that was. Inside the youth center were 4 main areas: Mr. Kirby's office, the ballroom, a snack bar, and a game room. Mr. Kirby's office was located by the entrance where he and his assistant, Mrs. Kurtz, could keep an eye on us. The ballroom was the heart of the youth center. It had a great old jukebox, and my duties included buying new .45s. Mr. Kirby gave me a budget of $5 a month. To research new songs, I'd watch American Bandstand and listen to faraway radio stations in civilization like WKBW in Buffalo, New York. The music was fantastic in the early 60s. The jukebox cost nothing to play, so the dance floor got a good workout. When not dancing, we would hang out at the snack bar or in one of the booths. Guys who didn't dance typically hung out in the game room playing pool. There was a stage in the northeast corner of the ballroom for small performances. For large performances, we used the base theater. Several times a year, Mr. Kirby would produce a musical review featuring the kids from the youth center. Both Mr. Kirby and his son, George Jr., were great singers. About 100 kids would be involved in a typical production. We premiered the show on base and then took it to nearby towns. The shows were as much about growing up as they were about entertainment. We did it all: acting, singing, promotion, set design, stage management, costumes, and makeup. My specialty was lighting. We learned that the show must go on, through practice, teamwork, and lots of hard work. The youth center experience was very close to the make-believe world on the Happy Days TV show. In the next 4 images are the names of 245 kids who contributed to these shows in the early 1960s.
don't know much about history, don't know much biology.
We went to school off base at Limestone High School. Limestone was 9th through 12th grade, and in the early 60s had about 400 kids. The population of the school rose and fell as the population of Loring changed. Limestone was a great school and small enough that you knew most everyone. The local kids were very friendly and accepted us brats. The teachers were dedicated and took the time to get to know us. My memories of actual classwork are skimpy and kind of strange. Mr. Brown's pants falling off in English class, spraying acid on the shades of Mr. Pinette's chemistry class, debating rock and roll music with Mr. Cardoza, the quick brown fox drills in Mrs. Webster's typing class, and discussing Mr. Ross's nickname, Bun Bun. Given the long winters, indoor activities such as basketball were popular. Our cheerleaders had a lot to cheer about. Our 1960 team won the league championship. Phys ed was no cakewalk. The boys had to climb these giant ropes, and the scariest thing we did was boxing. The scariest thing for the girls was wearing those blue gym outfits. Limestone was the only one of 17 schools I ever attended that suspended classes for the fall harvest. After Loring, potatoes were the second largest revenue source in Aroostook County. But they first had to be harvested, and kids were a major source of labor. In the fall, we were allowed out of school for a couple of weeks to pick potatoes. A machine would dig them up and deposit them on the ground in long rows. We would pick a basket full and then drop them into a barrel. Each barrel was worth a quarter. It was backbreaking work, and we were told, whatever you do, don't get down on your knees. The rocks will ruin them. But after a few hours, almost everyone succumbed. Some of the locals and the kids from Canada could pick as many as 120 barrels a day. None of us softies from Loring ever got close to that number. Avoiding this kind of labor is the main reason many of us went on to college.
One summer night.
Loring had super long winters with lots of snow. If you liked to ski or skate, it was a dream come true, although it was a nightmare for most of us Southerners. Cold weather lasted from November to April. The all-time record low was minus 41 Fahrenheit in February 1959. Loring had about 10 feet of snow each winter, and it didn't completely melt until May some years. Because the area had the very best snow removal equipment, we never missed a day of school. On the coldest winter nights, we had some amazing northern light displays. Summers were brief but pleasant, and there were lots of lakes and streams for fishing and boating.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack.
In the blink of an eye, it was graduation day for the 86 kids in the class of 1961. Some of our classmates went on to distinguish themselves in the fields of dentistry, mental health, engineering, law enforcement, investment banking, and politics. Some became homemakers. Our class members invented the cell phone, the iPod, and the internet.
Come on, come on, come on, and stay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, and stay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In 1976, Loring was targeted for closure. But after a lot of political debate and a $300 million upgrade, Loring got new life and played a key role as a refueling stop in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. But with the collapse of the Soviet Union in December 1991, Loring's days were numbered. SAC was dissolved in 1992, and on September 30th, 1994, Loring Air Force Base was officially closed. More than 2,900 military positions were transferred and 1,300 civilian jobs were lost. More than 8,000 area jobs suddenly disappeared. Mechanical harvesters even began replacing the school kids. The base fell into disrepair. All the places where the Brats hung out were either shut down, like the ski slope, or torn down, like our beloved youth center. Attempts were made to put Loring back on the map. In August 1997, the band Fish held the largest rock concert in the U.S. at Loring. More than 75,000 people attended the two-day concert, and 1,100 people even posed nude on the runway for performance artist Tunic. Today, the Loring Commerce Center is one of the largest industrial parks in the state of Maine. More than 20 businesses have relocated there, with more than 1,300 new jobs created.
Will you still love me tomorrow?
Loring Air Force Base was the key player in the deadly game of mutually assured destruction. But Commanders Wells, and then Kiefer, did a great job of making that nuclear fortress feel more like small-town America. In spite of the winters and the remoteness, it was easily the best place we were ever stationed. Sometimes I think I'd love to do it all over again. But then again, there's that potato thing.